Well, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. As you guys can see, we've got the short block out of the trash bag, and trash bag was just to like prevent dust and dirt and like debris flying into the pistons and the channels and everything like that, which we're still going to do a good job cleaning everything before we put everything back together. And as you can see, if you were looking around behind you, behind the engine is all of the, well, I won't say all, because I'm sure there are some still things over on the shelves. I'm very excited to get this put back together, guys, needless to say. So, what I was gonna do tonight is I was going to put on the head gaskets. I was gonna clean the surfaces, get the head gaskets on, put the bolts over there for the head studs, and get the heads back on, which obviously we've got right here. We had the head bolts right here, and I've got the head gaskets right there, and obviously the short block. And what I was gonna do tonight is put on the short block. Now, the sad and unfortunate thing is I don't have one critical point that I felt like I should have before I did this, and that is ARP fastener lube. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube, and well, really that's it, just other people on YouTube building these motors and using that ARP fastener lube. And I realized I don't have any of that, and just kind of reading about what it does, I just feel like it's important to have. And basically, from my understanding of it, is basically it helps the threads, and where the head bolt makes contact to the heads, it basically, when you're torquing them, it helps prevent basically the bolt locking up and actually give you a good lock on the, or a good torque spec on the heads. Now, you can use like engine oil and things like that, but watching some YouTube videos about ARP fastener lube, just kind of the data from their company was just showing how much more superior it is. And for only like 40 or 50 bucks or something like that, and with O'Reilly being able to ship it in next day, being tomorrow, I figured we'll wait on the head studs and putting the heads on, which is kind of a bummer because I was really wanting to do that tonight. But instead, we can actually work on a couple other things. One is we have our oil pump to put on, which, as you can tell, is quite crusty. The old one is, and we've got a brand spanking new one to put on. The main reason that I wanted to put this on is it was so oily and leaking from the block itself. You can kind of see even just some of the oil residue down in there where I didn't quite get it cleaned up well enough. So we're gonna go ahead and take off our oil pump, and in our box of goodies, in one of them, in that brown box, we have a brand new oil pump. So let me go ahead and bust that thing out and show you guys what we got. you guys can see, this thing looks amazing. It is a, if you couldn't tell or if you didn't know, this cool paper. Let me show you guys this. The paper comes in like Japanese lettering and everything, and this is a genuine OEM oil pump from Subaru. If I remember right, I want to say it was like 250, maybe 350, somewhere in that price range. I can't remember exactly, I'll be honest, but we went ahead and just picked up an OEM one because we're not building any crazy power with this motor. I don't think it'll even create that much power just from a bunch of factors, but this is what we have for the motor at this time. And we are actually going to do some modifications to this oil pump, very minor ones, just to help us have a good running start when we build this thing. So let's take a look. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're using some assembly lube to get in between the oil pump gear here, just so that we don't have any dry starts on the oil pump. This is pretty important. If you didn't know about this, I really highly recommend this when you're doing this. And then the next thing we're going to be doing that you'll see here shortly is we're actually going to put some red Loctite on the screws. And that's also extremely important because there's been a lot of people with Subarus, at least I know the WRX STI platform, that have had the screws back out. So that's why we're going to put some red Loctite on this right now. I'm not recording. I hate that. Well, guys, you missed out on the fun. I was laughing because I could not get this oil pump off. And what ended up being the problem is there is a bolt right here in the middle. So I took all the other remaining bolts off, and I didn't take this one off, and I was using a crowbar, right, like this one. It was a little bit bigger, and there's a little tab up here on the top that you can pry off the top of your block here to pull this off, and I could not get it off. It's been like maybe 5 minutes, and that's because of this right here. So here is the oil pump surface in the oil pump. Right now we are going to just get the surface cleaned. We're gonna do that with a Scotch-Brite pad and some brake cleaner. Guys, again, very annoyed here, but I forgot to hit record when putting this on. So the new oil pump's obviously already on, and we're getting the crank position sensor installed right here, but apologies for not having that footage. Just do a very thin, I mean very thin, layer of silicone where you'd see me remove it. And don't forget your O-ring that goes behind there that you saw me pull off, and you'll be totally fine for the install. And as far as torque spec goes, I just did like a roughly 5 foot-pounds by hand, good and tight, on the oil pump screws, and then I also did that for the crank position sensor, nothing too crazy. And guys, check out our Company 23. This is the 552 tool. It is the oil pump seal installer. So it's pretty clear that the Company 23 oil seal installer tool is definitely worth the purchase. Look at how perfectly flat that has made it up to the oil pump. It's definitely worth the investment. For the final touches, you already know, we gotta get a new crank sprocket on it, and that thing looks sick. All right guys, I am very happy with how the oil pump turned out on the EJ25. It looks amazing. Thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate you guys a lot. Please subscribe, please follow, and enjoy the future build to come.